Today's review is brought to you by Film Rabbits, originally known as Film Gorillas, from the small logo you'll see at the corner of this video. From Hollywood hits to straight-to-video movies, for the biggest variety of movies and TV shows, start your account today. Now go watch Silver Be a Dork. Bye-bye!
Happy Independence Day! Recently, my producer posted a Facebook poll to decide what movie I'd review for this patriotic day. I wasn't expecting much, but according to him, all you have to do is put the word America or American in the title, and apparently it becomes an automatic staple for the 4th of July. But to my surprise, the few people who voted picked a movie that's surprisingly good. Oh well, sure I'll get around to reviewing American warships someday. The Prowler, also known as Rosemary's Killer, is a 1981 slasher film that got little attention when it first came out, but managed to get a following over time. The film was made on an extremely low budget, with many of its sets and props being either improvised and or borrowed, and most of the cast being recent film school graduates rather than professionals. The movie was written by Glenn Leopold and Neil Barbera, and if the name sounds familiar, it's because his father, Joseph Barbera, is one of Hanna-Barbera's most famous directors. Unfortunately, Hanna-Barbera doesn't have any interest in this film, and considering how popular adult animation is today, it is a shame.
The Queen Mary, the greatest passenger liner in the world.
So the film opens with stock footage of the Queen Mary during World War II, giving me the perfect excuse to review this on Independence Day.
I don't know how to tell you this. I really don't want to hurt you, but I just can't wait for you any longer. Perhaps when the war is over, we can be friends again. Please take care of yourself. I continue to worry about you. Sincerely, Rosemary.
Well, she's screwed. Let this be a warning to anyone whose boyfriend is in the war. Never send him a letter saying you've moved on without him. So we cut to 45 years later, as in the same location, they're preparing for the graduation dance. It's here we meet our main character, Pam, as she overhears a report of a robbery. But the sheriff...
I can't start the summer without fishing, and you know that, I never could.
Look, we can't have an 80s slasher movie without an incompetent cop. You all know that. So we cut to the dance hall as we're introduced to Pam's friends. We're also introduced to Major Chatham, played by Lawrence Tierney, who I assume is only in this movie to bribe location owners into letting them film there. So as Pam and her friends head out to the dance, her other friend Sherry stays behind to take a shower before she heads out. Let's see, a young woman taking a shower in a horror film? I'm sure she'll be fine. Nope. The killer shows up and does his best Norman Bates impression by killing Sherry and driving a bayonet through her boyfriend's head. Pretty brutal, but hey, nice blood effects. The makeup and blood effects in this movie were done by Tom Savini, who's best known for his work on Friday the 13th, Maniac, and Creepshow. And despite the movie's low budget, he still manages to make the death scenes look real. So we cut back to the dance as we see Pam... Hey, just be glad it's not Stryker, otherwise it wouldn't have been punch she spilled on your dress. So Pam goes back to the dorm to change as... Wait, the killer's still there? How long did it take for him to kill Sherry? And is leaving a rose with his victims really worth spending the extra time and risking getting caught? Hey, don't be afraid, he's just posing for the movie poster. So Pam runs outside and runs into... Look, the director paid good money to have Lawrence Tierney appear in this movie, so we are damn well going to use him. Eventually, Pam runs into Mark, her police officer boyfriend, who goes to investigate the scene. Stop shaking on me, camera! Don't you know that means I'm going to die? So Pam and Mark go over to Major Chatham's house and... Remember that joke I made about Lawrence Tierney only being in this movie to get the location owners to let them film there? Well, Chatham's home in this movie is a museum, and the owners of the museum were fans of Lawrence Tierney and were delighted to have him film there. Are you sure? I mean, we could just stand around and wait to die. So back at the dance.
Deputy London has just informed me that a prowler has been seen around the campus. So everybody, just relax and enjoy the dance.
Yes, just relax or we'll die! Meanwhile, outside. Why, yes, this movie does make me want to go swimming. How did you know? So the killer shows up again and kills her. And once again, good effects. So the dead swimmer's friend goes outside to check on her, but... By the way, did I mention how low the budget is and how impressive the blood effects are? Meanwhile, these two random people go downstairs to have sex as... Okay, horror movie characters everywhere, please cross the wind off your list of suspects. So Mark gets word of a group of kids in a cemetery and takes Pam with him to investigate, as they find Rosemary's grave has been dug up.
Mark, the same man who killed her, killed Lisa.
Pam suspects the killer is the same one who killed Rosemary 35 years ago, and seeing how quick she came to that conclusion, even Professor Xavier would ask why she's so sure. So they go to investigate Major Chatham's house again. Oh, and get used to these walking around the house scenes. The director paid good money for this location. Eventually, the Prowler attacks Mark, and Pam finds Rosemary's corpse in the chimney. Which begs the question, how long has her corpse been in there? Did no one smell rotting flesh? Did they just think it was Chatham's awful cooking? So the Prowler chases after Pam in a surprisingly suspenseful scene until she's saved by Otto from that earlier scene in the store as they exchange goofy looks towards each other while happy music plays. Yeah, the scene is making me uncomfortable. Thank you, the Prowler! So the killer gets back up, but Pam stabs him in the back with his pitchfork. And yet somehow he's still able to wrestle her to the ground. This is a problem most slasher films had for a while. Although the killer isn't superhuman, they're still able to survive crap like this. So Pam gets pinned to the floor, but is able to unmask the killer, revealing... Yeah, it was the sheriff the whole time. Now you're probably wondering why this guy is killing people and why he's dressed like this. The answer? I have no idea. That's another problem a lot of slasher films had. While they had impressive-looking killers and some impressive kills, the killers weren't really given any clear motivation for their kills. Or if they did, they just weren't explained very well. I know a horror film doesn't have to explain everything as long as it's entertaining, but I don't know. I'm just one of those people who can't live without the explanation. So Pam manages to wrestle a gun barrel towards his face and puts the poorly explained killer in his place. And that's the end of the oh yeah, this is an early 80s film. We still need to get one last scare in. And that's where the movie ends. Hope it was worth it. Like I said at the beginning, The Prowler wasn't exactly a success when it came out, and for a while, it wasn't put on DVD, which is kind of a shame because like I said at the beginning, it's pretty good. Granted, this isn't my favorite horror film, and it's not even one of my favorite slasher movies. It has a lot of the same problems that a lot of slasher films had for a while, but it still does have good stalking scenes, a lot of good suspense, good acting, and of course, an original killer, and really good gore effects. If that's enough to make your day, I say check this one out. It's not the best, but it's by far not the worst. Normally this is where I'd film a huge outro, but according to my producer we don't have much time, and the needs of the deadline outweigh the needs of making something awesome. Happy Independence Day!